Hello, welcome to Quilted Cactus. Today we are doing a tutorial on Petal's newest pattern that she released today, July 28th. This is called the Ellana. It is a cute little bag. It's a great small bag. It is a quick sew. I sat down and made this bag in one afternoon. That is cutting the pattern pieces, cutting the bag, fusing the pieces, and making this bag. I mean, that's one afternoon, honestly. This handle, I also go over how to make the handle. I would suggest, I used a thinner cording, so I would suggest to use the cording that she gives in the pattern piece, the size of cording that she uses. That will give you a more fuller look of cording, or fuller look of your strap, but it still turned out great. I also ended up using the a tassel connectors, the little tassel things, for my handle. I think this turned out really well. I really liked it because it had the little chain on it, and it just gives a little extra to the bag. And it's a different lining. It's a drop-in lining, and it's done a little different. That's something new that I have not done before, on how this is attached, and it's got cute little darts, so that gives that little bit of roominess in the bag. It's a small bag, but it gives it a nice little fill. It's a nice roomy bag. It just comes with a slip pocket. You can always add a zip pocket if you want. That's totally up to you. I mean, I would probably use the measurements of the slip pocket just a tiny bit smaller, but you can always put a small zipper pocket in here if you want. But that's a nice roomy bag. You can put a full-size wallet in here. I thought about card slots, but honestly, after I finished making it, I mean, really, it's a nice bag. So anyways, come join me in making this cute little bag. It's adorable. It's easy to make. I show you how to do the handle. And if you click on the link, I am an affiliate program with Petal Sewing Patterns, so I'd appreciate it if you choose to purchase this bag. If you click on the link, that will help me out a little bit. And everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Thanks a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and go over our pieces for the Ellana bag by Petal Sewing Patterns. This is actually a quick sew. There's not a lot to it, as I said. Okay, so let's go over our pieces. I'm gonna go in order that she has them listed in her chart. Okay, so you want your upper front, which is this piece here. So you have your upper front. I keep my clips with it. And then you're going to need what she calls your right left front, and that are these pieces. So what you're going to do is the pattern piece that she gives you, you're going to cut them mirrored, because you will sew these together. So make sure you cut one face up and the other one face down. Obviously that's mirrored. Okay, and then you're going to need the left right back pieces, and these also are mirrored. So this is the back of your bag here, two of those, or I should say total of two mirrored is what I should say. Dropping my clips, that's fine, we'll just set this aside, we don't need this clipped. Okay, and then the handle, this is the handle here. Now I already have my handle marked, but I'll go over what all this tape and markings are for when we get to the handle, which is actually going to be the first thing that we do. And then you'll need your pocket trim piece here. Oops, I forgot your little handle strap connector, which is this little guy here. I just put a clippy on it so I wouldn't lose it. And then your pocket trim piece here. And I've already got it center marked and it's already taped. So when I fold it over my top of my pocket for the trim piece. And then you'll need the lining. You'll need two lining pieces. So this is your bag, and this is my lining here for my bag. And just remember to cut for the front and the back pieces as well as your lining. Make sure you cut your darts out. That's very important. And then your slip pocket. So again, this just has only a slip pocket in this bag. Since this is a nice small bag, a slip pocket is all that is needed in this bag. Now, I have thought, in which I may do one in the future, which would be cute with this bag, is putting little credit card slots in the back, or even a small zipper pocket with some credit card slots in it. That would be neat. That way you wouldn't have to carry a full wallet in this bag, since it's a cute little bag. I'll have to, again, this is, since this is a new pattern, I'll have to probably think about how to go about doing that. So that's the thought process that I would need to do. Okay. Also, you're going to need 2 piping pieces. Now, in the pattern, she gives you a width. I'll go ahead and tell you the 1/4 inch at least. Now, mine are not a full 1/4 inch. I think these are this is like a 5/32, which I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, I couldn't tell you exactly what that measures out to be. It could be a 1/4 inch. I don't think it is. But I'm not, fractions and me are not good friends. Anyways, so I'm being told it's close enough to a 1/4 inch. My background person. Anyways, so you need 2 of these. And this goes in your handle. She gives you, again, the measurements. You'll need, of course, your zipper pull, because it's a zipper closure, your zipper tape, if you use zipper tape, and let me make sure, and then the cording ends. Now, this has a unique handle, as you've seen on the bag. It has a nice, and that's what I really like about the bag, is this nice, real pretty, unique handle. And if you see, she's got like little end cap type of things. Now, I did this, I got this pattern, just got it last night. So I ran to Michael's to see what they had. I went into their jewelry section, and I found these. Now, I think these are a little too wide for the end of the handles. So I went ahead and purchased these, just to see if they would work. And it's got a hook on it. Now, hers doesn't show a hook on there, but they, it looks like she's using the handle strap here to hook onto the little D-rings. I got to grab some D-rings. I forgot you also need 2 D-rings. But anyway, but this has a clasp on it, which I like that. So you can just hook these onto the D-ring if they fit. Now, of course, I will show you the bag at the beginning of the video, so we'll know by the time we get to this part of the tutorial if it's going to fit or not. Also, I have a backup. Hopefully these work as well. These are actually tassel caps with a swivel hook here. Now, these are a great deal smaller. These will actually fit right inside the center of this. So, these don't have any screws on them, so this would solely be attached by glue for this particular thing, which I have some really good glue, but this one does have one little screw hole. In her picture, she's got 2 screw holes, and I did find some on Amazon. However, they will not be here until tomorrow, and since the pattern releases on tomorrow, Monday the 28th, I wanted to get what I could get so we can get this out on the day that the pattern's released, as well as showing you how to do the handle. If either of these do not fit, I will have the correct one tomorrow. So we'll see. And again, anyways, as I said, we would already know by the time we get to this point if it works or not, or if I had to use the ones that I have coming from Amazon. So I wanted to show you the options, and then I will tell you at the beginning what works, and we'll know. I'll let you know if it's from Amazon. I'll give you the details of the Amazon. Otherwise, it's this little guy here that I got from Michael's. Is where these are the big ones are. And again, these are the swivel, the tassel cap with swivel hooks that I got from Wallach. Is the options that we have for these to make sure they work. So I'm going to set these aside. We'll find out shortly if they work. Okay, so I'm going to set some pieces aside here. And I am not doing a crossbody on this particular bag. So I think it's the handle in of itself. It makes it really cute. And the fact that it is a nice small little bag, I chose not to do the crossbody right now. If I do a crossbody, it'll be a webbing. And I'm not sure if I even have anything that matches this beautiful raspberry. Actually, this is raspberry from Tulip Bee. This is her signature smooth collection. And again, it's called Raspberry from Tulip Bee. The lining, I should say as well, is from Tulip Bee as well. It's her Smoothie Smooth. And this is Daisy Fields. And this is that nylon, bonded nylon. You don't need interfacing or anything on this. And it's got it's a water resistant fabric. All right, so let's go ahead and get these pieces here out of the way, and then we'll get right onto it. Now since I'm not doing a crossbody strap, we will be skipping pages 5 and the top of page 6. Okay, we're gonna go right to the bottom of page 6. Keep my pattern in order here. Oh, and I also wanted to show you the thread that I'm using. Since we are making a solid bag, sometimes I like to either do a contrasting thread or a something fun thread on a solid bag, solid color bag, I should say. And I am using this as Be My Know Me, and this is from siaswagbags.com, and it's really pretty. It's a variegated thread. She brought it out in around Valentine's Day last year, and it's just beautiful thread, and it's got the reds, the purples, pinks. It's really, really vibrant color, and I think that'll look really nice up against this raspberry color. So that's what we're using. I am using, now this one's text 45, but I also have a text 70, and that's the text that I'm using. This is for my domestic, because I can use the 45 in my domestic. Okay, so let's get our camera tilted down, and then you're gonna go ahead and start seeing my work surface, where we're gonna work here. Let's see, that should do good. All right. Okay, so again, we are starting on page 6 at the bottom of page 6. Now, in the pattern, she gives you measurements to go in from each long edge. So you want to go in on those measurements that she gives you and draw a line on each of the long edge, and then you want to put some double-sided tape along both of those long edges. Now, I'm using 1/8 of an inch on the edges here. That way it doesn't interfere, the tape doesn't interfere with my piece. And then because there's already so much tape here, it's also not one big piece of tape. Also, this is how I do my piping. I put a piece of tape down through the center of my pieces. So anytime I do piping, that's the way I do it. That way when I lay my cording on here, it stays in one place. I believe I got this idea from the Crafty Reporter. I'm pretty sure that's where I got the idea from, because she has a tutorial on piping, and that's where I watched how to learn how to do some piping. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to remove, I'm going to get my pieces of pipe out of the way here. What you're going to do first is you're going to remove the tape off the long edge of the, just remove one first of the long edge of the piece here, and then you're going to fold up to the line that you drew. Don't go over it or anything. You're just going to fold right up to that line. That'll give you a nice finished edge. And this is, again, these are our handles that we're working on, and we're going to do piping, and then we're going to like weave them, and it gives you that real pretty handle. I think it's a really neat handle that I liked. So we're going to do that on the piece. Just kind of go through up to, again, to the line, and with that tape it should stick well. If you need to, and you've got a thicker or a heavier vinyl, I had it here, and I since apparently it's moved on me. I just found it, but I have a small little roller. It's like a little clover plastic roller. You can roll over your seams if you need that security, either to flatten or to hold them down. Sometimes that will help secure your seams, but this is a nice softer, thinner vinyl, so it will fold and hold really well. So I'm gonna do this to all of 4 of my long edges, and then once we get done with that, then we'll be back to, and I'll just fast forward through this. I'll be right back when we work on the piping. Both of them, my handles, they're folded in to the lines that we drew, and then we just have that open spot there in the center. So then let's go to our next page. So then what we're gonna do is, and she does actually in the pattern, she does advise you to put the double-sided tape in the center of the pieces as well. So that's that is also in the pattern to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tape from the center of my handles here. And I'm using 1/4 inch in the center of my pieces. And then I'm gonna take my piping piece here. And in case anybody wants to know, I did get my piping from Wawak. I'm gonna lay this piping right here. I'm just gonna try to keep it straight. Now, you can go ahead and draw a line in the center of your piece so you can keep it centerized and know where to follow your line. But because of the way it's already so narrow, I can pretty much figure out where the center is. But anyways, so my piping is from Wawak, and it is a giant enormous roll that I got because I wasn't really paying attention. And so I got this roll. That's why I'm using, that's not quite the 1/4 inch, because I have so much of it. I mean, I have a lot of it. All right, so be wary where you buy your piping and pay attention to the yards when it says it, because I didn't pay attention. All right, so you're gonna do that, and then once you put your piping inside the handle, you're gonna take the handle and then you're gonna fold it up like this. The folded edges, you're gonna take them and do that, fold that up to there like that. And then let's get some clips. And then you're gonna clip it shut like that. Now I can see what she's referring to when she says at least of 1/4 inch. I can feel that it's still gonna be there, but it's not as rounded as the picture shown, so it's not as full. So you want to make sure you do get as close, as thick as you can on your piping. I can feel the difference if I would have used a wider or a thicker piping. So you're just going to take it and then just clip along the edges there like that. Fold it all the way around down, and you're going to do that to both of your pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all clipped up like that, and then I'll be back here in just a moment. All right, so there's both of my pieces. These, again, this is for my handle. So I've got them both clipped along the folded edges here. So this is all clipped together. So you can see here how there's the piping. It's not real pronounced, but I still think it'll be a cute enough handle once we get it all put together. Okay, now so she just states to sew along the edge of this, along the the open edge here. So we're gonna sew along that edge. She doesn't give a measurements, but I'm gonna go 1/8 of an inch. That's just enough to seal it and not go so far in on the piece there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that stitched. Always make sure you back stitch. Now I am going to sew at a 4.5 inch or 4.5 stitch length. All right, so I'm gonna go then and sew down along both of these and get these sewn together. All right, so there's both of my handle straps here. Okay, now what you're gonna do, I'm gonna trim off the ends of these pieces. Now I did cut my cording a little longer than she suggests. I just like that little piece to hang out a little bit so that way I don't lose it inside the piece. So mine is a little longer than she says. If I can get that one little piece of pile, there we go. Clean up my threads. Oh, that thread just doesn't want to clip. All right, let me get these threads cleaned up a little bit. They are little, they're little, but I don't want to take the chance of them peeking out of the pieces. I kind of like the, I feel these are going to be too big, maybe. Yeah, I feel this is going to be too big. I don't know, these might be, let's see what we got here. Let's see if I can get them in here. I actually kind of like this better. I think I might use this. I like this better, the tassel caps with the swivel hook, because you've got this little bit here hanging from it when you put your strap on, and I kind of like that. It gives you just a little bit, couple more inches of length, and you can actually clip things to it too, because I know a lot of people are clipping some stuff. Seen this little girl at the grocery store yesterday, how everybody's clipping all of the little things to your bags, to their bags, and I forgot what they call it now. But anyway, and she had, I think she had more stuff hanging from her purse, her little purse, than the size of the purse itself. Okay, so we're going to put your pieces like this, kind of like, you know how you nest, if you sew quilting, how you nest the seams. You're going to put them like opposites like this. You're going to put your stitched ends in the center like that. Put them together like that. I'm just going to put a clip kind of a little bit back here just to kind of hold it together right now. And then I'm going to get my little end cap, get one of the little screws, because again, like I said, these actually have only one screw versus the two that she shows, or the ones that I order from Amazon. So let's do this. I'm also going to get me some glue. Now, I would highly advise you to get some decent glue. They've got this B7000. I got this off of Amazon. They also have, I forgot what it's called, but I highly suggest you use a heavier or a more a stronger glue. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here on the inside of this cap. And I'm actually going to put some glue on the sides, a little bit size as well, just to kind of secure that. As long as it's not oozing out, that's all that matters to me. I like a little extra glue. So then you're going to take this end like this, and you're going to insert it inside the cap. Now mine might be a little snug, but I think I want to use this. I think I'm going to try to make this work. So let's do this. Get my clip off. I'm going to kind of fold it up a little bit. Get it inside. Push it in. There we go. Oh yeah, that fits nicely actually. Look at that. I do have some glue coming out because I did get a little carried away on the glue. Let me get my little wipes. I'm just using water wipes just to help wipe the glue away from this edges here that it oozed out. She does give you the size of the end caps to use. I think these are just a hair smaller, but anyway. All right, now I'm just going to get something just to poke in that little hole there. I'm just going to poke the vinyl so I can put the screw in. That just gives it a start for that screw. My screwdrivers. These look like I need the tiniest little Phillips, the tiniest little Phillips. Let's see. I got this different set here because I was having problems with my one that I had because it didn't have them real small enough. That'll work. Oh yeah, that'll work. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the end of my screw so it doesn't want to come out. There we go. So we're going to get this on, and then once I get this screwed in tightly and the glue cleaned off, we'll be right back. That's nice. So now I've got the end cap on this one, on this side here, and then what you're going to do is you're just basically going to just kind of it's not really braiding, but you're just going to kind of wind the pieces, wrap the pieces around each other like that. Just keep going until you get to the end. You don't want to go so tight that it gets all bunchy and curly, but you want to go tight enough to where you get just that little bit of that look. I guess you want to say maybe the look that you're trying to achieve. And I'm just gonna try to work this a little bit. I'm gonna say with my there we go. Thread looks really good with this too, so I'm just going to keep weaving it back and forth. I want the ruler. I'm just trying to do it to where I like the looks of it. See how that's a little bit tighter, and this would be my top of the bag here, like that. So that's what I'm looking for. And then when I get to the other side, we're going to match these up. I'm going to take this, let's see, push these together. Let's see if I want. I'm just kind of looking. You're just going to kind of eyeball it. There we go. Shape it up a little bit. Again, if my piping was a little thicker, it would be a little rounder. It would be fuller looking. I'm just trying to look. So that's basically what you want to do to achieve the look that you want of the handle, like that. Okay, so there's your handle like that, and that's what you're going to do. And you just kind of wind it up, and then you're going to insert your piece into the other end cap like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then I will be right back once I get this installed on the other end. All right, there we go, guys. There's the handle. Now, I did undo it and redo it, and then basically it's just so I can achieve the look that I wanted. Again, I know I've said this already. If my piping was thicker or wider, I should say, I would have more of a pronounced roundness to this. but it still looks cute. I still like it. And again, I like that I use these little tassel rings, because then I've got these nice little hooks that I can hook onto the D-rings. Okay, so we're done with that. And now we are moving on to the next phase, and that is we are on page 8 here. Let me move this, put this out of the way. So we are going to take the upper front piece here, and my pieces, of course, have already been got Decoville light on the back of my all of my main pieces. So this is the main, the upper front here that's already been with interfacing. And to note, make sure your interfacing is placed in the right position, meaning you want to keep it out of your seam allowance. And what I typically do, you can see a little bit, is I will make like where the straight lines are, I'll put a line here and a line here for my seam allowance, and that way when I place my interfacing on there, it's as accurate as I can get it, because we are going to fold this bottom piece up over the interfacing. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to take this piece and we're going to get some double-sided tape. I'm using 1/8 of an inch. That way it helps with not interfering with my piece here. And I'm just going to wipe my table off. I wiped off my table. I got glue all over it. So let me get that wetness off. There we go. All right. So I'm going to place double-sided tape along the edge here, and I'm going to run it along right below the Decoville. I'm going to put it right below my interfacing is where this is going to go. I'm just going to follow the line, the curve I should say. Go along the curve. Okay. So that's what we did here. That's where it goes. It's right below that. And then we're going to take off our backing. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to take it and we're going to fold this up to the Decoville, or up, let's see, let me read. Okay, so we're going to actually, fold it up to the Decoville, not over it like I've just originally stated. We're going to go right up to the Decoville like that. And if you need to make maybe a couple little snips like where it's curved here, you can just do the tiniest little triangles. I mean, I'm talking tiny little triangles like that. That'll help decrease some of the bulk when you fold over the curve. I'm just going to put just 3 right here, right around the center of it. I'm just putting those 3 little snips right there. And then I'm just going to take it and fold it right up to the Decoville. Don't go over it like I had said. So let's get that folded up. It's going to be not sure what this, but yeah, we're going to take this, and that way when I fold these I can meet my little points like that. Keep that curve, but keep it nice and smooth. Just make sure you don't stretch it, and then when you're on that curve you can just kind of flip it and eyeball it just to make sure it's nice and smooth looking, not bumpy. So I'm just kind of working it out so it looks nice and even. There you go. So there is the front, and see how it looks nice and finished on the front, and there's the back side of it there. Okay. So that's finished there. And then right now we're going to take this and then we are going to set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and grab my name tag here, because I think that's a beautiful spot to put your name tag. As long And I'm going to use this real pretty cork laser engraved tag. It's nice and simple. Okay, so now you're going to grab your right, that's the back, here's the front. You want your left, right, front exterior pieces. You want both of those, and then you're going to put them right sides together like that. And then you're going to stitch along this short edge here at the seam allowance that she gives. Sorry, I'm also looking at the pattern as well, as long as I do this here as well. Okay, so we're going to stitch it. Oh, my Decoville moved a little bit, but that's okay. We're all right. So I'm going to stitch this at the seam allowance that she gives. Whoa. Need to decrease my stitch length a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to open your piece like this, and then you're going to open your seam allowance up like that. Just give it a nice press, and then you're going to top stitch on both sides of that seam, which I like that because that gives a nice little look, character to the bag with that little extra stitching rather than it being one full piece. And that's another reason why I'm using this my seam allowance doesn't look right on the bottom here. Let me check my piece real fast here. Yeah, my piece slipped a little bit. So let's do a quick little adjustment on my bag. Already messing up. So let me get this fixed and I will be right back. Okay, sorry, we're back. I only had to unstitch about halfway up. Somehow it slipped at the bottom there. But anyways, all right, so we got this put back together. Let me get some of my threads got it out. Didn't get all my threads pulled through, so give me a quick second here to get these threads pulled through. Clean it up a little bit. All right. So again, we're going to open up our seams, and then we're going to top stitch on each side of that seam. I'm going to increase my stitch length to back to the 4.5 that I stitched with on my handle. Just hold your seam open. It's small, so it shouldn't be too hard to hold it open, especially if you've got this soft vinyl. This makes it easy. Got a couple threads in the way here. There we go. Sorry about that. I had to clean up some threads. Just be careful when you are using like a contrasting thread or something that's obviously that doesn't blend right into your piece, that you try to be as, I mean, you still want to try to be as straight as possible, but sometimes, I know me, I swerve sometimes, like driving down the road. Okay, so there you go. So that's the front of our bag right before we add the top piece. So you got that top stitched open like that. And then now you're going to take your top piece here. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my tag on the piece before I stitch this to the bag. I'm going to mark my center here. I'll need to mark it anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and mark my center. I'm gonna throw a little piece of tape on the back of my name tag. I like hers. She's got, she apparently has a real nice machine because her Petals sewing pattern, she's got, Ellana's got her name like embossed into the front of the bag, like on this piece, which is really neat. So I'm going to, she doesn't give you like a measurement to do this with, but I am going to kind of guesstimate with my center here. So there's my center, and I'm going to mark my center on this. Try to find my ruler, and since I knocked my ruler on the floor, I'm just going to, there we go. And this is about 1 inch down, which that'll like right there. That'll work. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this on real quick before I attach it to my bag. Okay, so I've got my name tag on the front. I mean, it's not, this piece is starting to come up a little bit, so I just need to press it back down. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to put some double-sided tape along the curved edge top of your bag here. Again, I'm just using 1/8 of an inch on this. I tend 1/8 as my go-to. About the only time I use 1/4 is if I know my seam is going to be really large, or I need that extra tack, because sometimes the 1/8 just doesn't cut it as far as the folding tack. Okay, so you've got that drawn along there. Now, when you need to get a, I have this gray removable pen. This has to be removed with a wet wipe, a water wipe, I should say. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a measurement, and you're going to draw a line, and that's where you're going to place this at. So what you're going to do, what I am going to do is I am going to use this as my guide as far as making my curve. So, and this actually, to me, I think would work really well. This actually is the seam allowance right here of the bag. So I'm just going to take this and measure down on the seam allowance to this piece here. So I'm just going to match it up. I'm going to make sure that this does work here. Yeah, everything looks good. You can measure down and make sure you've got a line, and then you can line this up to that. I'll show you what else I'm talking about. You can take and measure down like your measurement that she gives you, and then I would make like a dash, and then a dash, and then I would match this up to those dash marks to keep that line. But I think I can eyeball this enough to make sure I know I am within my seam allowance. So I'm going to actually clip this to hold it in place here. And then I'm going to check this over here. Everything looks good there. So I'm going to put a clip on this side here, just using some flat clips. And then again, we're going to be using a removable pen. And I am just going to draw a line along this curve here, like that. See how there's a line right there? That's what you want. And then you're going to take your upper front piece, grab that back, and then remove the double-sided tape backing from your piece. And then you're going to take this and line it up with that line that you drew. So there's my center point here. I can also do a fold and then take my silver pen to make sure I am accurate in placing it, take my silver pen and make a little mark here of my center like that. And then obviously this is the center of your bag where your seam is, and then just lay it down like that along that line. Line it up like that. Make sure everything lines up well like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove my pen marking. I don't want it on there too long, because then it starts to leave that behind. But it should be, the tape should be far enough up that it's not going to come off. So let me just get this pen mark off real quick, because I don't want to take any chances of this being permanent on my bag. Well, that's pretty. Now you could, if you wanted to, I was thinking about it, but I just couldn't find anything in my final stash that would look well with this. Besides, I wanted to use up my pretty raspberry. I thought this is a small enough bag I could use this with. But you could, if you wanted, a whole different color here at the top. That would be pretty. Something different here, like maybe with a floral print or any kind of, you know, different print. And then this could be solid. That would be pretty as well. All right. So then we're going to go at our top stitch length, and we're going to top stitch along this edge here where we placed it on top. So you're going to go along this edge at the top stitch length to stitch this onto the bag. And top stitch is always 1/8 of an inch unless they tell you differently. Just go slow to make sure you stay on there and it doesn't come out of your seam here, or you don't veer off of the piece. Oh, that's pretty. And there's the front of my bag. Oh, that's pretty. I love it with this thread. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Nope. Okay, the front of your bag is complete. Well, let's see. All right, so now what she wants you to do is go ahead and do your I forgot what they were called again. My brain stopped. I know what they're called, but I stopped for a second there. Okay, so the darts, there you go. I knew my brain just stopped. Okay, so you're going to take your bag and fold it right sides together on your darts like that. So give them a clip. Make sure everything stays even and your darts are straight. And then you're going to sew both darts. Just clip them both like this, and then sew them both at the seam allowance that she gives you, and it's the same seam allowance through the bag. Like that. All right, so I'm going to sew these darts. Again, you're folding right sides together. Again, make sure you back stitch. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Okay, so you are going to taper. I'm sorry, I messed up. I knew when I started sewing this, something wasn't right. So you're going to start at the seam allowance that she gives you, and then you're going to taper it off to a different seam allowance. So let me go ahead and do a quick measurement. Grab my ruler to make sure I keep that accurate here. There we go. I'm going to draw a line on there to make sure, number one, I don't mess it up, forget, and as number two, just to follow along here. So let me do some more on stitching. Isn't this wonderful? I should read, right? I'm not going to go all the way to the very end because I've already backstitched. And this is a very smooth vinyl. It's a soft vinyl, I should say, what I already mentioned. And I don't want to go over that end too much. I'm afraid my vinyl will start to tear. So this is not, these tiny little holes aren't going to hurt. But it's, I'm going to do this right to the, where I backstitched at. So I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to sew on that line there. Okay. So I'm going to start there. I'm just going to do one little back stitch just to anchor my thread that I just started sewing with. And you're just going to sew off at that angle. I'll show you here what I just did. So see how I did that? I just kind of went off, and then when I got to that 1/4 inch, I just kind of veered right off the side of the bag, like that. So I'm going to do that to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to mark it that way, again, like I just said, so I'm not going to repeat what I just said. So let me just get my marking here. Line it up. There we go. Ah. They were removed. There we go. Okay. I think we're about to get some storms. I'm going to start from the bottom and sew up, so that way I can veer off. So it's going to be a little awkward position here, but I want to veer off the bag, and I want to make sure I do it right. So I'm just going to start from the bottom and sew up. All righty. There we go. And then we're going to push it out. Let's see, does she have you trim? She does have you trim the seam allowance. So I'm going to trim the seam allowance down to about 1/8 of an inch to release that bulk there. So I'm just going about 1/8 of an inch away from the stitching. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it right side out, and I'm going to poke it out like that to give that little bit of a poof there. And there you go. Isn't that cute? I really like that. Okay, so there's your front of your bag right there. So now let's get to our back of our bag. And guys, we're getting close to getting done, actually. I mean, after we do this, we make a slip pocket, sew our lining, then we start assembling the bag. It's that easy, that easy. So we're gonna get our I'll get the official word, the left and right back pieces. We're gonna do it just like we did the front of the bag. We are going to stitch these at the seam allowance given on the straight edge here. And then we're also going to do the darts as well. So we're going to sew, I'm going to sew this at the seam allowance given here. And then once I sew these sides, I'm going to open the seams, top stitch through the center, just like I did the front of the bag here. And then I am going to sew my darts together. It's exactly like we did at the front, except the back is full piece, 2 pieces. We won't have that pretty little front like that. This is, the back is 2 full pieces. So I'll be right back when we get done with these, with this back piece, when it's completed, I should say. All right, so my back is completed. So again, I sewed the 2 pieces together, top stitched the center, and then did my darts just like I did the front pieces. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's see. We are getting there. So now we got to prep our zipper. Get these pieces, and let's set these pieces aside. Now I'm going to get my zipper. I'm going to prep my zipper. Get my pins and all my fun stuff out of the way. We just get the right length of the zipper real quick here. I didn't cut my zipper just yet, so. So let me go ahead and get my zipper length. I'm gonna cut it just about an inch longer than what she suggests, only because I'm not sure how the zipper, I couldn't tell if it was closed in, meaning it's affixed to the end of the bag, or you can put like a little zipper end on it or not. So I'm just gonna go just a tad bit longer than what she has. Alrighty. And we're just basically going to prep our zipper end. We're going to do the 90-degree turn angle on the zipper end. She has you go down an inch and fold it out. So typically I go a half of an inch, but I will do the inch as she suggests, just in case that makes a difference on the length of the zipper. All right, if you cut a raw edge, every time you cut a zipper, you always want to singe the ends of the zipper. All right, so I'm going to go down 1 inch on the end of the zipper. I just make my little I just make tiny little hash marks outside of the fold edges, just so I can see where to fold. So I just got those tiny little marks there. Pull the zipper apart. I do not have my zipper pull on it at this point. I do not add my zipper pull till the very end. Now, sometimes I will put it on as I'm doing, like if I'm doing a zipper placket, or if I need to readjust to make sure that my zipper is going to land correctly on the end. When I do this, I will sometimes put it back on, but I typically will remove it when I stitch the bag together. So I'm just putting stick pins. These are really, really thin stick pins. I put those in there to hold it together like that. I will check it, and I do see that one is higher than the other. So I'm going to work it to make sure they are even when I do this. Let's put that back in here. So I'm going to match up to make sure my zipper looks like it lines up level when I stitch these. So when it closes up, it's level, and it's not, you don't have that little uneven looking zipper end here in the bag. So I'm going to stitch these right inside the seam allowance as I'm going to stitch these shut. Some people will do will cut it and singe it and melt it. I can't do that. I'm not that good with that. I can do this. This to me is the easiest way of doing my prepping my zipper for installation. And I do back stitch as well on this. I kind of probably do it too many times, but I do like that extra little back stitch on my zipper. All right, so there we go. There's that. So then what you're going to do is you're going to trim up your pieces that hang over like that. I'm going to trim them up, and I'm going to make sure they are straight as I can get it. I'm going to cut this one. Just make sure I don't cut into my stitching, because I've done that before. There we go. And then since I've cut into my zipper again, we're going to do another quick singe, making sure that this zipper is sealed, or else the zipper will fray. There we go. All right, so there is my zipper. That is prepped to go. I'm going to put double-sided tape on the front of my zipper, top and bottom. I'm just gonna, again, I'm using the 1/8 of an inch. You wanna go, you don't want to go all the way to the very end. You only wanna go, she does give you a measurement. So I am going to do that as far as how long you want to go on your double-sided tape. She has you pre-cut, but I don't pre-cut. This will get everywhere if I don't. So I'm just going to measure it and then just break it off. This tape is not super hard to use my fingernail and rip it off or cut it, separate it or whatever you call it. All right, let's get a little crazy. So let me get that out. All right. Again, I'm going the measurement that she gives you. All right, that looks good. And get my double-sided tape from Wall-Wack. I do a lot. I've been getting a lot of stuff from them, a little more than usual, than I used to. Okay, so my double-sided tape is installed on my zipper. Again, it's just on the front of my zipper. And now she has you put the zipper pull on, and then she has you remove the zipper pull. Again, since I've not put my zipper pull on it yet, then we don't need to do that. I know my thing is fine, and also since I didn't separate it too far to do the fold down, I'm good. I don't need to readjust my zipper to make sure it is straight. So what we're going to do now is we are going to separate your zipper like that. And then I am going to grab my front piece here. I've got my back piece. I'm just going to kind of set that aside for right now. Then I'm going to grab my front piece, and then she gives you some measurements to go in on the sides where your zipper is going to start and stop. I'm just reading real quick where to put the zipper start and stop points. Let's see. Just give me a quick second. Remove the zipper. I'm sorry, my apologies. On page 10, she tells you what the markings are. I missed that on my instructions. So when you get to page 13, when you install the zipper, she'll say on there with the markings on the front piece that she gives you, make sure you do the markings when you see it on page 10. I apologize, I did not catch that. So on the start side, there are 2 different measurements. Keep that in mind. And on the start side, she gives you a measurement, and then you want to mark that, and then and just keep it out of the seam allowance. And then on where you stop at, you want that different measurement, slightly different. Okay. Again, just keeping it out of the seam allowance. So you've got these little marks here. I just did little marks there. And then I do believe you do the same thing on the back, the same measurements. On the back, yes. But keep in mind, on the back, you want to be like if you're looking at it like this, your measurement on the back piece, you're going to do them differently. So make sure, for example, I've got one measurement here. This is my front piece, so I'm going to unzip from here to here. Okay, this is one measurement. This one is slightly wider. On the back piece, if you're looking at it straight up, you're going, this side is going to be the measurement that is on this side of the front piece, and it stops, this side is going to be the measurement on the front. Because keep in mind, and I'm sure you might already know that, your piece is going to go like this, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go in on this side at the wider seam allowance on this side, because I'm looking at it straight down. And then when I go to the other end, I'm going to do the measurement that is at the start of my bag. Okay, So I really hope that made sense. You want these measurements to be opposites when you're looking at them straight on, because again, they're going to be, your bag's going to be sewn like this, so you'll make sure they will meet at that point. Okay. All right. So going back to our zipper now, I'm going to flatten this out a little bit, and then you're going to take the piece of the zipper that is going to, like if your zipper is together like this. Okay, let me get my zipper page back. My apologies. Let me get back to do my zipper, which I already had marked. So let me just flip it back over. So your front of your zipper, when you put your zipper down, you want your zipper teeth at the bottom, and then you're going to have your zipper tape there at the top like that. Where your zipper, where your 90-degree turn is going to be on the left side of your bag. So let me go ahead and peel the backing off and place this on. So I'm going to press it all the way down with your teeth starting at the line. So your teeth is going to match up with that line. Just stay straight and keep it even with the edge, raw edge of your bag. Like that. Okay, you will have leftover. You do want that right now at this point. So and then there's your stop point right there. And actually your double-sided tape should stop where that end marking is, which mine actually does. But what I'm going to do, just so I am aware, because my tape covers it up, I am going to make a mark on the back of my double-sided tape, just so I am I'm aware of where that stop point is. And I'm just going to simply just stop sewing at that point right there. So I just matched it up with my bag marking and do that. Now she gives you the option of, if you want to go ahead and do like a basting top stitch, she gives that option unless you want to go ahead and do the full seam allowance. I am actually just going to do the basting attachment of this zipper. I don't want to go in and be aggressive with the attachment of my zipper just yet. I don't want to take that chance of messing up on my zipper, because if you mess up on your zipper like this, then you can end up with a wavy zipper. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach. Again, I'm stopping on that where that little mark is. Okay, and I'm just going to back stitch. Okay, like that. So it's stitched on like there. And I did just a hair over an eighth. I didn't even do a 1/4 of an inch. So that way when I get on there and do my seam allowance, I have plenty of space for my seam allowance. All right. Now I'm going to stitch the other zipper to the other side, just like I did this side. And then this will be, you're going to put your, let's see, make sure we do this correctly. So if your bag is, let's show for an example, because you want to make sure you do this correctly. So remember, you're going to put your zipper tape on the opposite, like if you're looking at this way, your zipper, your 90-degree turn is going to be on the right side instead of the left side, like on the front. So that way when you put your bag together like this, you'll see that both openings are right there. Okay, so I'm going to get this taken care of real fast. My backing comes off. We'll be doing good. Oops, there we go. So let's go ahead again. We're going to put this down. So I'm going to get this sewn down, and then once I get this put on, I'm going to put my zipper pull on just to make sure everything matches up correctly before I move on to the lining and attach lining. We want to make sure our zipper sibs up correctly before we do anything else. Okay, so we're going to get this stitched on, and I'll be right back. Here we go. Look at that. So my zipper pull looks really nice at the top there. And that's the bag. Here's my bag right there. Isn't that nice? Looks like that's when everything gets pushed out. There we go. That looks better. There we go. Okay, so that's cute. So we're gonna take this then. Like I say, you want to check it and make sure everything looks nice. And now with it zipped up, you can go ahead and then turn them wrong sides together. Make sure your zipper's out of the way. So I'm just going to take a clip and pull, clip it back a little bit to stay out of the way when I sew it up. Oh, we got to add our little tabs. All right, sorry about that. We need our little tabs. So you're going to need to take your little tab here. Okay. Actually, I do believe you need 2 of these versus 1 because you're going to fold it in. Yes, we need 2 of these. And these, again, I forgot. I told you wrong. You need 2 of the little handle strap connectors. I only cut 1. I need 2. So I'm going to cut another one real quick, and then I'm going to go grab my D-rings. I neglected to grab my D-rings, and I will be right back, and then we'll get these attached to the ends of the sides of the bag. Well, after we sew the bag together, then we'll attach this, but I want to make sure I have these prepared so when I get done sewing the bag together, we'll have these ready. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So again, like I mentioned, you need 2 of these instead of 1 that I originally stated at the beginning of the video, and then you'll need 2 1/2-inch D-rings. And that's what you're going to attach your strap to, and if you do a crossbody, that's what you'll attach that to as well. So I'll show you how to install those here just shortly as soon as we get this bag sewn together. So again, we're marking, putting the zipper out of the way. These little tags though, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this, clip it like that, keeping the zipper tail out of the way. And then you're gonna go and clip your bag together. Match your centers of your bag at the bottom of your bag first. You want to match those centers where you stitched those pieces together, because that will show up if you don't. And then just match your darts, and you can nest the darts. Even though we trimmed them down, you still want to kind of nest those dart seams together. Nesting means you just do them one in one side direction and then the other in the other direction, in case you're not familiar with the term nesting. I'm gonna clip right on that. Let me check this. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in and fill in between the clips like that. And then I'm gonna go up to the top of the bag here, and then I'm gonna clip that. And then work my way around. No gussets on this bag. No clipping on the gusset edges or anything like that. You just simply want to make sure your center seams match as well as your darts match. Okay, and I'm going to go back here, get my zipper pull out of the way. You do want to, I'm going to clip here, but then I'm going to also make sure I mention, as you want to make sure your zipper, your bag is like either unzipped or half unzipped. So that way you can, when you turn your bag out, you are not having difficulties trying to open your zipper to turn it right side out. In the bag, she has it completely unzipped, where the zipper pull's not even on it. But I'm going to leave my zipper pull on it, but I'm just going to unzip it down like that, just so I've got plenty of opening when I turn the bag right side out. Okay, so the bag is clipped all together, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew all the way around the edge of the bag. And sew it completely up to all the way up the bag, at the seam allowance that she gives. My clip is, got my bag messed up here. Hold on a second. Let me get this fixed. My bag is a little off here. I've got a little bit of a, there we go. That'll work. That'll work its way down. Okay, sorry about that. My thing was twisted a little bit. All right, so she gives you the seam allowance. So I'm going to go in and stitch this bag shut at the seam allowance that she gives. I'll be right back. And just push the rest of the seam out. This is a nice little, I really like the way the bag puffs out. It kind of gives it a classy look to me. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty. Now let's just do a test zipper run. Turn my zipper right back out. Oh yeah, look at that. That is cute. It's nice, cute little bag like that. Okay, so now what we got to do is we do need to install our, I'm going to take my zipper pull off and put it back on when we're done, because I need to install my zipper, the little, not the zipper pulls, but my little D-ring holders, strap connectors. Okay, let me do, I got a little bit of, just a little bit of an unevenness here, and I think it's when I went around the circle. So I'm just going to do a quick little cleanup here. I just got to do a little angle cut. And basically I'm just cutting from where it meets and then go up at an angle to clean that little piece off like that. That's a little piece that I just trimmed off. Okay, so again, you want these little pieces here. I somehow got markings on them. My gray pen is like all over everything right now. Okay, so I marked the centers of the strap connectors, and then I've got double-sided tape, and all you're going to do is you're just going to fold these to the line on each side, because these you're not going to see the inside of this, so you're not doing like that double fold like when you do a crossbody strap. You're just going to fold everything up to the line like that. Just make sure your looks good. So that's all you're doing like that. So you see that, and then I'm going to slip a D-ring on. Like that. I'm just going to put a clip on the end, because I'm going to base these shut before I put them onto the bag. That way they just hold shut better. So I'm just going to go ahead again and do the same thing on this little piece here. Not fast forwarding through this because this is such a tiny little piece. I'm just going to fold again both sides into the center, making sure they touch. Like that. Slip on the D-ring. These are thick D-rings, so it's a little tight, but we can do it. And I'm just going to base these shut, so that way when I put them on the bag, they're not trying to open up and they cause me issues when I'm stitching them onto the bag. It's just a quick little baste on here. Nothing, I don't have to, not doing any back stitching or anything. It's just, again, just to hold it shut. So that's all I did on these. Now I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna pay attention to the centers of these D-rings. And then you're going to place, open, oh, almost lost it. Open your seam allowance up in your bag, right here. Open that seam allowance up and then place your D-ring centered with your seam like this. So I'm going to do that, and then let's see if she has you do an overhang. Okay, she doesn't have you do an overhang on this, so I'm going to line it up even with the top of the bag like this, and then you're going to baste it on at the seam allowance that she gives. And you just kind of give it a little push and work. Just make sure if you're on the end of your zipper, make sure your zipper's out of the way. Again, make sure this is centered to your seam. And I'm going to double check, and I think I need to scooch it. Nope, let me see. There we go. I'm just making sure it's centered here. I am going to back stitch it onto my bag. When I sew it onto my bag, I am going to do some back stitching, even though it'll be in my top stitching when I sew the bag together. There we go. Clean up those threads, because if you've got dangly threads, they can show up in your thing. So you're going to attach them like this, where your D-ring is upside down. And then level it up to that, or even it up to that, I should say. Again, you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Make sure your seam allowance, your seam is open on the inside of your bag. Just squish it down to get it out of the way. If you've got a nice soft vinyl, it makes it really easy. This is great vinyl. I'm gonna keep singing the praises of this vinyl. This is a great smooth vinyl. I will put in my description the name of this vinyl again, and link to Tulip Bee. I'll just put a website link in there. All right, get my threads out the side of my bag. There we go. So those are done. Now we are going to move to our lining, and once we get to our lining, we are almost done, because obviously the lining, it's, I mean, really easy. So that's good. That's all done like that. I'm going to throw my zipper inside my bag so I don't lose it. All right, grabbing my lining slip pocket. I've already got it marked, but she gives you the measurements to go on the side of the slip pocket. Making sure, I got to make sure I marked it the right spot. I think my slip pocket actually should have went this way, but it's not much difference. Okay, so she gives you markings to go in on the side of your slip pocket, and then you're going to put some double-sided tape on the raw edges of that, and then what you're going to do is remove your double-sided tape and fold up to the line. I love this way of making a slip pocket. I'm not going to lie. When I make bags, any bag that I make that's got a slip pocket, well, almost every bag you make's got a slip pocket. If they give you the turn and flip and turn and all that kind of stuff, I don't do it. I always change it out. I use the basic measurements of the bag or of the slip pocket that they give in their bag, but I always convert the pocket to this way. I think it gives you, it's number one, it's a lot easier, and number two, I think it gives you a more crisp, cleaner looking bag. No lie, I think it's just absolutely such a clean look on a pocket. You don't have to worry about pointing out those corners. Okay, so once you get your edges folded in to the line, you're going to fold it wrong sides together with the raw edges at the top. Go ahead and you can clip it to hold it shut. When I get to the bottom, basically what I do is I'll take a scissors or I can take the like a flathead screwdriver, do a like that. That just kind of cleans that edge out. I'm going to clip the top first, and then I will straighten that edge out. And that just kind of gives it that nice little fold, especially since I'm using this nylon. But that gives that nice clean look like that. You can baste it shut. I'm going to just do a quick little basting stitch at the top just to hold that top shut. So when I put that trim on, I don't have to worry about it trying to open up. But you're not going to do anything to the sides where you fold it in. I'm just doing a basting stitch at the very top where the open ends, the raw edges meet. Okay, we're going to leave these clean because we're going to, when we stitch it to the lining, then these will get sewn shut. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to take these off for right now. All right, so now you're going to get your slip trim piece. Is already marked in the center of this trim piece, and then I've got double-sided tape on the long edges. So when I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the double-sided tape off of one side and lay it down flat with the removed tape at the bottom, where the exposed double-sided tape is at the bottom. I'm going to take my slip piece, my pocket here, and I'm going to take it and lay it down on my trim piece, but I'm going to go below that line. I'm going to scooch it over just a hair more. I've got plenty of room. I always cut my slip trim piece a little longer than the actual pocket because I like that little extra, and then I just clean it up at the end. So I'm going to, again, I'm laying it below the line because when you fold it over, you need that little extra like that. And then remove the backing on the other end, and then fold it over. And then you just, and that's why I like to keep that little extra, because that helps me to know where to meet my back piece. So fold it over, just trying to keep it as straight and even as possible. Like that. So you've got, so it looks like that, and then you're going to top stitch. Now she just has you do one top stitch at the bottom. I like to do my trim pieces double top stitched. I do one an eighth of an inch up from the raw edge of the piece of vinyl, and then an eighth of an inch down from the top. Back stitching when it gets onto the piece, that gives that keeps it from fraying or coming apart. And I'm going to do the other top stitch. I just like that, holds that piece a little bit better, and I just like the looks of it. All right, I'm just going to clean up these little edge pieces here. A ruckus going on upstairs. I think the dog is gone crazy. So there you go. So you've got that piece there, and then you're going to take it, get one of your lining pieces. It's all clipped together here. Just give me a second. Everything's clipped. So one of your lining pieces here. Mark your centers on your lining piece. I'm going to do a clip here to hold it. And then mark the center at the bottom as well. Make sure you don't lose it. You want to just go ahead. If you're going to mark one end, you might as well just mark the other end. That way that gets it out of the way. You don't have to worry about doing it again. And then what you're going to do is, let's see how far down we put it. Okay, so she gives you the measurements to mark it, to put it down. You get that measurement. find my mark here. I always line up my piece. I have like a line here. I'm going to give this a fold. I'm going to put some double-sided tape, just some 1/8 of an inch, just a couple little spots, nothing really major large, because this nylon is very slippery, and I know probably once I put this down, it's gonna slide. So I am going to just throw a couple little slivers down here, just enough to hold it, so when I put it down, it doesn't slide on me. This again is Daisy Meadows, I think. This is also Tulip Bee, so it's really easy, one-stop shopping. She's got linings. She's got great selection of vinyl. It's like you get on there and you just don't know what to pick, and you get one of everything. It's like going to the candy store, no lie. Okay, so I'm gonna find my center real quick here. Lay it down, finding my center, and then I'm going to line it up and push it down. There you go. And there's my slip pocket, and I'm going to stitch it on 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then if you want to divide it, you can, but honestly, I think this would be a good cell phone pocket. I think it's nice and long, and it's long enough to slip a cell phone in there. So let's go ahead and stitch this down. I am going to back stitch at the top here. I think I'm going to, yeah, let's do a good back stitch. I'm going to, one more. I was thinking of doing the little Y thing at the top to anchor it, but I think that should be sufficient. I don't think any of this pocket's gonna hold anything too heavy. Okay, that was it. Oops, get my little needle back up. There we go. And I'm just going to cinch some threads here real quick, just to clean up my threads a little bit. Just be really, really careful. There we go. Alrighty. So there's my slip pocket. Now we're going to do our darts just like we did the darts the same way we did on the exterior. So I'm going to make my marks real quick here on the darts so I can keep an eye. So I'm going to do these darts real quick. Again, I'm going to sew them exactly the way I did the front of the bag, starting at one measurement, going into another, making it more narrow. And then once I get this done, I'm going to sew the darts on the other piece, the other lining piece that has nothing on the back. This is where I had mentioned where I think it would be really neat to put card slots with a zipper pocket for like coins and bills maybe. I will think about that, and then once I come up with that idea, I will, and work it into this lining, I will get back to you, because I have to worry about darts and placement of it. So I'm going to work on that, because that will be cute. That way you don't have to carry a full wallet inside here. Okay, anyways, we're going to work on the darts, and then once I get the darts all sewn together, I'll be right back. Okay, so now my darts are sewn on my bag, both sides of my lining. My darts are done. So now I'm going to place my pieces right sides together. just like I did the front, I'm going to sew this up. This is a drop-in lining. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to do that, match up my darts. Again, I'm gonna just nest the seams so they lay nicely. So I'm gonna match my darts up. My center is marked on one side of my bag, but not the other. So that makes a lot of sense. And then I'm going to mark my centers. Okay. I was just looking at my seam allowance here for my bag. So I'm just going to clip this up here. I'm going to sew this together. Again, I'm sewing it completely together. Everything's matching up so far, so good. All right, so we're all clipped together, and I'm going to stitch this up, and I will be right back once this bag is stitched up. Or I should say the line is stitched up. Okay, so now that the bag is sewn up together, all together, she gives you a measurement to mark on your bag from the top of your bag here where your opening is. She gives you a measurement to mark on your bag, and this is where you're going to fold your lining. Again, this is a drop-in. I messed up and I stated that this wasn't a drop-in at the beginning, but this is a drop-in lining. My apologies. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to make the measurement here and do the line that she suggests. Just do a quick little line like that. Again, I'm going to do it on the other side. Both sides, you need to make this line. Apologies for the barking dog. There's a puppy in the house, and she knows her voice, and she hasn't figured out yet the word no on the barking. I don't know. That's a in progress training. Anyway, all right. So, and I'm going to put double-sided tape right above that line, because that's where we're going to fold down to. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape here like that. Now there, on top again, it's right above the line. And then we're going to fold the top of the bag down to meet that line on the of the bag. So we're going to peel this off, and then I'm going to peel off the other side a little bit, not all the way yet, as I want to open my seams. Okay, now what you're going to also want to do, because you do want these seams to be open, so you got your open seams, you're going to also want to trim down. I'm just going to peel back the other side just a little bit, just enough so I can open my seams up like that. Okay, so they're open and they stay open. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and trim my seam allowance in half, just like we did the exterior of the bag. So we're going to get this all trimmed down, and just stop right when we get to the top where it splits open. I just take the scissors and I just do a snip like that, so our seam is open, and then we just got that little cleaning, that little spot there. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to fold this down to the line again, as I stated, down to the line. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to remove the tape off the other side and fold this down. This side is down as well. Same exact thing. Just be careful that it doesn't try to go over. Sometimes it wants to have a mind of its own. Like that. When you get to that side, just give it a little pull. Alrighty, so there is my lining. That's folded down, ready to go. We are at the final stretch. So yes, final assembly. So now we're going to take our bag exterior. Whoops, I just dropped the zipper. Okay, it's fine. So I'm going to take my bag exterior and then I'm going to drop in my lining. Make sure you've got wherever you want your pocket, whether you want your pocket in the front or the back. I'm going to put my pocket in the back only because that's the only thing that's in there, the only type of pocket, rather than like if I had the zipper and a lining pocket, I would put my zipper pocket in the back of the bag. But I'm going to put my lining pocket in the back because this is a small bag and that's all I've got. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to drop your lining in like that and then just line it up. Make sure your side seams match on the sides. Give that a clip. And then, let's see. How do we do the zipper? Oh, I see. That's pretty neat. So, this is different. This is a drop-in lining with the zipper attached to the front like that. You're gonna take your zipper, bring your zipper up like this, okay? Point the zipper up, and then as well as your little zipper tabs, fold that up as well like this. Match the corners like that, so where your zipper, where your strap connector is pointing in the upward direction. Clip that. I will go on each side of it, making sure my lining stays kind of hidden a little bit. You'll have that little bit of a fold. This is different than I've done before. All right, I'm gonna clip that. Now again, I'm gonna take my zipper, pull it straight up, so where my zipper, see that right there? That folds down like that. And then when I bring my lining is gonna go up over that and cover the back of that zipper. So I'm gonna work with this. Give me a quick second. Let me see if she gives you, okay. So you're wanting about a 1/2 inch fold. Ooh. When you fold it up. What would it be? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This will be a little impromptu moment here. I'm gonna go and mark a 1/2 inch mark inside. I'm not gonna go like crazy line straight, but I'm gonna go in and make some marks. And I do that because I wanna make sure it's as even as I can. I'll show you what I'm doing here in 2 seconds. I'm just doing some strategic little lines so it's straight and even, because if this is not even, you are going to have a wavy zipper. And that is why I changed my Aurora bag to the way it was, because my zipper was wavy, and I'm pretty sure it had the fact to do with my seam allowance was uneven. I had problems with my seam allowance. So let me just mark here. If I can keep my ruler from moving. All right, that doesn't look right. Hold on, my ruler moved and I need to place it better because it wants to shift here. Okay, Now I'm just going to go on the sides real quick here and just make a 1/2 inch mark here. And I apologize for giving that out. I don't, Ellana, if I gave that out and I shouldn't have, I wasn't thinking when I said that. Just making sure I keep everything consistent. All right, do I have it on both sides? Yes. So this is what I did. I just went in and just marked in 3 spots, and then on the sides that seam allowance, just to make sure, because what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do, is you're gonna fold this zipper up, and you're gonna make sure it meets that line or that seam allowance. So when you fold it down, you've got that clean edge, and you don't, when you stitch the, when you do the top stitching, it covers everything up, okay? You could, if you want, put double-sided tape there to hold the zipper in place up there, but I think I should be fine, because when I fold this down, I see that it's kind of relaxing at that spot. It's the side edges that I was having a hard time with. So let me get through these first. Get that and fold that up like that. Match my seams. Go ahead and clip on each side to make sure that these don't move, like that. Get this down as well. Make sure my zipper is down inside that seam. I've not made a bag like this before. This is a first. So, my suggestion, this is a suggestion that I just thought of. When you stitch your zipper on, when you baste your zipper on, she gives you 2 seam allowances to baste it on. My suggestion would be is baste your zipper on at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. That would make this process a lot easier, because all you would have to do is fold your bag in where that where your seam allowance to your basting of your zipper. I hope that makes sense. You would just need to fold it down where that basting is from your zipper. Okay. And then just clip it around the spot here. This just takes a little bit of patience. Just make sure your lining folds correctly, or you're not lining, but your seam. Just keep that zipper, the end of that zipper down, so it does not get in the way. I'm having some difficulty, so I'm going to finish working on this. I'll fast forward through the rest of this. And then finish working on it and getting this clipped up. I will show you what it looks like once it's all clipped up. And so you know what it looks like. And then we'll get it top stitched. I'll be right back once I get this all clipped up. Okay, so I've got the clip, I've got my lining set inside and clipped. Some of the struggles, just so you know, full disclosure, some of the struggles that I had was right here on the end, worrying about my zipper tails and where the stitching is. It's still kind of peeking through. So when I get to that point, I will have to go really slow and work that with that, and making sure I catch my lining. That's a concern that I have on this sewing of this bag. Now, she has you pulling the threads through, and instead of back stitching, she has you do the threads, pulling them through. She gives you great instructions on how to do that. And since I'm using a variegated thread, and the thread pretty much blends in with the bag, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to back stitch on my top stitching, and I'm going to start towards the back of the bag. I'm going to kind of I'm going to actually start right around here, and then start around, and then do this part here about halfway through, and then that way once I get to the front, it should be, cross my fingers, smooth sailing until I get to the other side. That's what I'm looking to do. I will sew with my bag. Let's see. Let me think of the best way to sew. I'm going to sew with my bag face down on the plate versus the front of the bag, versus doing that, trying to stitch this like here. It's a wide enough bag where if I didn't have to worry about the tail, I would sew it like this, but because I worry about the tail and catching the lining, I'm going to sew it this way. That way I can keep an eye on the lining. I'm confident on my bobbin thread that it is at an appropriate tension, that I do not have to worry about my bobbin thread looking funny, giving bad stitches. Let's see, my other concerns is keeping my zipper tape even and straight, because I had to clip from the top. My zipper tape is a little bit tucked down in here. So I do want to make sure that that stays even. So those are some concerns just by clipping and looking at it. But other than that, we should be okay. So again, I'm going to start on this side of the bag here, and then work my way to where the little tails are, and then we'll work with that. So I'm going to back stitch, but she does give great directions on how to avoid doing the back stitching. And I just worried that I don't catch my lining, but I feel, and then the seam allowance that she gives you, I'm going to go just a tad bit deeper, just a tad, not a bunch, just to do that. And when I put my lining on, I kind of felt to where this folded piece is, because it's raised enough where I could feel when I put my lining on that I at least made it up to, if not just a tad bit over where my where they meet, since I can't visually see like regular top stitching. So I'm just going to go slow just to make sure, making sure my stitching doesn't show through from when I basted my zipper on. That's a concern as well. I got all kinds of concerns, but that's okay. We can do this. It's a very simple bag. It's just the zipper. We just want to make sure that zipper stays even. So I'm just going to kind of just tuck slightly, pull the zipper out. Now I'm getting to that end here. So I'm just moving my bag around, making sure. And I'm going to do a quick check. I am catching my bag. That looks good so far. I forgot to change my stitch length, but I can't change it now, so we're just going to keep on keeping on. So I'm going to get to this side here. I'm just going to kind of push the bag around, and then I'm just going to watch my zipper and my lining. Try not to be heavy-footed. Now I'm to this little tab here. I don't know that you can see where I'm at. I don't think you can, but I'm going to have to work with this a little bit. I'm going to take my clip, and you're going to see me kind of fidget with it a little bit, and that's just making sure where my little D-ring is properly covered. And it's a bit of a jump too. So I just got to be careful that that doesn't mess up on the other side as well. clean my threads up here too. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching this up. Again, I'm just being very careful, very slow. I got to this point. My bag is pushed out. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'll be right back when I get it done. Okay, so we got it done. I mean, it actually didn't turn out too bad. I wish I had increased my stitch length, but that's my problem. The only thing that I see on the front of the bag is right down through here on the side. It did get a little wider, but it's on the side, so it's not as noticeable. Kind of goes into that curve a little bit. Other than that, it's not too bad. The lining actually came out really well too. I was able to start, stop. Let me puff it out the way it should go. There you go. The lining fits really nicely on the inside, and you got my little slip pocket there in the back. Let me get my zipper real quick. Yes, my zipper. Let me get quick pause here. Let me go grab my zipper pull, because again, like I said, I just dropped it on the floor, so I'll be right back. I'm back. It's shot clear across the floor, actually. I just don't know how. So as far as the tail, leaving the tail length is up to you. I like my tail. I like my zipper end. When I open up my bag, I like my zipper pull to clear the bag. That is a personal preference of mine. That's not accurate. Let me get a quick little tug here. There we go. Yeah. So I'm getting my zipper pull put back on, making sure this should be right. Let me see if I got it the right direction. Nope. I have it on the wrong direction. Then we'll put our handle on, and then we will show you what it looks like all together. Now on the end of your zipper, you can do one of two things. You can do those cute little zipper end caps, which that's what I will do on this one. Or you can do just a fold over piece of vinyl to cover it up. This one, let's see. I'm going to unzip here because the end cap will go to about there. So if I fold this in and that clears, I could actually probably, let's see. I'm trying to decide. We can do that. All right, so let's zip it up. Let's tuck my zipper in so it matches up. Everything looks good on the end. So I'm going to tuck this tail in real quick because I'm going to put my handle on, and then we will do the full reveal of this bag. It's a really cute bag. Honestly, this really didn't take that long. I have actually, at this point, I have been recording from start to now 2.5 hours. Now, that's all of the little extras, stuff that I will be fast forwarding through. So honestly, there we go. So honestly, you could sew this. I mean, literally, I done this in the afternoon. I printed the pattern, I cut out the pattern pieces, I cut the bag, fused the pieces, did all this in the afternoon. I mean, literally, this is a one-day bag. If you're looking something where you want to just sit down and sew in the afternoon and make a bag, I mean, that's it. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Let me get this pushed back here. Let me push my chair back and try not to fall. Let me get my camera raised. Give me a second here. There we go. Woo! All right. Get this bench, my bench out of the way. So here we go, guys. Here is the bag. This is an absolutely adorable bag. I like how I like that using the tassels, because that gives you that little extra, and it just gives a little something to the bag, I think. So here's the bag, and there's the I mean, look at that. Isn't that absolutely adorable? I love this bag. It is so cute. Again, it is a simple little bag. It's easy to make. I mean, the hardest part is the zipper, and honestly, the only reason why it's hard is because you want to make sure you get it accurate because of the way she has you do the zipper. I probably would use double side. I would use a 1/4 inch seam allowance when I sew the zipper to the bag. When I baste it to the bag, I would go 1/4 inch. And honestly, if your machine can take it, I would go ahead and use double-sided tape to fold the zipper down, and that way it's all folded in at that where it goes down to the 1/2 inch. I think that would actually make it a lot easier. So that's what I would do when I make another one. So there you go. And look, it's got that nice little puff to it. Let's look on the inside. I know I showed this in the beginning, but there's the inside of the bag. It's nice and roomy. Great. I mean, you can actually put a full-size wallet in here, even if you know, you didn't do anything extra. You could actually put a full-size wallet and a cell phone and all the other essentials that you need. And this is a great evening bag, honestly. So there you go. The Ellana from Petal Sewing Patterns, brand new, released today. So go get you a pattern. Click on that link that I provided in my description and go get you a pattern. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You have a great day. Bye.